Come out and play, Twisted Sister. Come out and play. Are you afraid of things that go bump in the night?
Hey everybody, Mark Weiss here in my office in New Jersey. I want to show you my book, The Decade That Rocked. You can pre-order it now on Amazon. It's going to be out in June. And I started in the early 70s. I got my first camera for mowing someone's lawn for the season. Then I started going to concerts. I used to sell my pictures for $1 a piece in front of the shows. And then on that fateful day in 1977 at a Kiss concert, I got arrested for selling my pictures. Best thing that ever happened. I ended up going to Circus Magazine the next day, and they kind of took a liking to me, and they said, use this film and do this and do that, a couple tips. And then I came back like 6 months later, and I had some Aerosmith photos when they played Giant Stadium with Ted Nugent and Mahogany Rush. And it ended up being a centerfold in 1978, and then the relationship just started, and then the ball started rolling, and it led me to this book 40 years later. First book I ever did, and I'm very proud of it. It's 400 pages, and I'm going to be doing a series called Behind the Covers, or Behind My Covers. So I did a lot of album covers in the 80s, and I'm going to talk about not my first album cover with Twisted Sister, but my second, Come Out and Play. With the success of Stay Hungry with the Bone, which is another story, Dee trusted me to do the art direction for Come Out and Play, which was very extravagant. So here's an outtake from it, and I'll tell you about it too. So that's Dee. It was the idea was a pop-up of Dee coming out of the street, and my father was in the construction business, and he had this big 8-foot by 8-foot piece of street made and then brought into my studio in New York City. It was like, it must have been 2 tons. I actually have it in my garage. I didn't get rid of it. And we made a real manhole cover, which was about maybe 400 pounds, which we had to have Dee go underneath it, and it was like on top of them. So a lot was riding on this shoot, and everything to go flawless, and it did. It really did. So this is my portfolio case that I used to drag around New York and show people my album covers and my little portfolios and everything. So this is about 35 years old. Here's some of my covers. It's Cinderella, Dawkins, Cinderella. This is my Stay Hungry album. Slippery When Wet. This is the one that they didn't use. A couple other ones. There's the one they used. Here it is. So, Twisted Sister. So this is the cover. That's it. And it's raised, so they spent a lot of money on this. So you can feel like the manhole ridges on it. Pretty cool. And then we had Dee's hand coming out, and then he popped up. So then the back cover was a graffiti artist who painted this was like a whole building, like down on, I think it was down on 20th Street or somewhere like that. But we had scaffolding, and it was quite an experience. But so we did that, and they used a lot of that for their merch and all that. And then another thing we did was I had them do half and half makeup. So half was regular, and the other was like their made-up persona. And that should have been in color, but you know, I guess they didn't have the budget. Last night I went on my good friend David Elfson's Youth Music Foundation with the Schools Out initiative. He had a live stream, and they had a bunch of musical guests on and some celebrities and whatnot, and he asked me to go on. Dee Snider went on, and then he kind of chimed me in, and I kind of surprised him with, let me show you here. This is the mummy wrap. This is the wrap that we use for Dee. and I had it in a bag on the back of the street. There's some safety pins in there. Oh wait, there's a couple fingernails they used, taped on there. This is the Twisted Sister book. I found this in the garage with all the invoices, expenses for this whole thing. This is all one job, and it was quite an ordeal. I haven't opened this up in about 30-something years. He came down kind of like a week before, and we were kind of doing some tests. Here's the mock-up. Okay. Some liner notes here. Look, produced by Dieter Dirks. We had everything kind of like a graffiti style. Look at this original art. This is, wow, different color schemes. Now this is cool stuff. All different colors. It says D wants to see this one colored in. This is their Play It Loud Mother. This is something that we put on. I went with D to Washington, D.C., August 1985, where he fought the PMRC. A committee formed to try to rate records and put explicit content labels on them that had sexual, drug, or violence in the lyrics. They ended up doing it, but D on the next label, he did a little something humorous. It says, warning, this record has been rated H, humor. This record contains some words and phrases that require a sense of humor. If you don't have one, don't listen. So that was his little dig on that. And, you know, they ended up getting those labels on and ended up helping sell records. Oh, wrong album cover. But this is my Slippery When Wet stuff. I guess I saved that too. But we're going to save that for another time for Behind the Covers. Mark Weiss signing out.
Come inside, or we'll